Welcome to FNL News.
A series of illnesses have been affecting 15% of the youth around the world. As more adults become affected, children are at higher risk for this serious illness. Going to Dr. Sanchez for more information.
Thank you, guys. Some symptoms include mood swings, loss of time, inability to focus, excessive loss of money, withdrawal from friends and family, and sudden decline of grades. Back to you, Isaiah.
Thank you, Doctor. Threats of exposure to this illness are greatly increasing for adolescents. Youth risk developing the illness at a rate of 2 to 3 times more than that of adults. Exposure to this illness can lead to impaired judgment, and opportunities for exposure are growing exponentially.
Don't wait until it's too late. Time is moving, and you must too. Life simply does not wait for you. Debt will continue to pile up high. The things you love will say their goodbyes, unless you decide to follow through. Time spent gambling is time wasted.
The one chip. One chip can start it all.
Then before you know it, you lost it all.
My wife and kids have got the key.
I'm outside with nothing on me.
Luckily, counseling starts with just one call.
Counseling is a journey you can begin with one step.
Hi, my name is Annie Reese. Today I will be talking about is gambling on animal racing dangerous. The animals are forced to race in extreme conditions, kept in cages and muzzled by their owners. Another example, horses have been drugged to race. Some horses have been whipped and electrocuted. Here with me today I have Anessa Escalera, who is a former animal gambler. She will be talking about her experience of gambling.
I used to bet on dog and horse races until I realized that my gambling was affecting the lives of other animals. I then received help at 1-800-GAMBLER.
Thank you for joining us tonight. So why gamble? It doesn't only affect the animals, it also affects you. Call 1-800-GAMBLER for more help.
Good morning, Boofies. I am live here from Spotlight News. My name is Nicholas Fiso, and today we have something very special for you planned. Thanks to our sponsors at Betting on Our Future, Terry Sue and Dr. Jim Cooler, we'll be watching a debate on whether daily fantasy sports are a form of gambling. My fellow co-host Dominique is there with the debaters now. Take it away, Dominique.
Thank you, Nico. I am here with Odin and Lena. Today we will be discussing a very important question in today's society, with fantasy sports. These two will be discussing it and debating both of their ideas back and forth. This is the essential question. Do you believe that fantasy sports contributes to the rise of problem gambling?
I would like to make a comment, if I may.
Okay.
Fantasy sports have led to an increase in problem/pathological gambling, yet fantasy service providers aren't required to provide disclaimers about playing responsibly or promote resources like hotlines for those who may need help. The end result of winning or losing money feels the same whether it's lost in daily fantasy sports or at a blackjack table.
Did you know? Research has shown the excitement of fantasy sports, not the allure of winning cash, has become its biggest draw. 110% of all of the scientists at Harvard agree that half of the time, fantasy sports is not gambling.
Right, well, you've heard from my two experts. Back to you, Nico.
Wow, that was a great debate. Thank you to all of the presenters. Once again, my name is Nicholas Fiso from Spotlight News, and make sure to stay tuned for highlights from the Warriors-Cavaliers upset late last night.
Game of life. In this world, I have unlimited lives. I make mistakes, but it's alright.
Mamma mia.
I take risks for the better. Like this hat, for the weather. But in this world, I want to survive. Life's not a game. Make good choices.
Guess what? We're in Las Vegas at the International Conference for Gambling and Risk-Taking, and we have a friend with us. Terry Sue, guess what?
What?
We have Bo with us here, who was with us last year, and he's hosting this amazing conference in Las Vegas, and we get to participate.
We're
Bo.
so excited. Bo's everywhere.
Everywhere but not at Disneyland, like all of you. I can't believe how lucky you are. You're at Disneyland enjoying the coolest gambling conference ever invented, and I'm not. So I'm so jealous of you all. This is my favorite event. I love the energy at this thing. There's no energy like the energy that you all create at this program. I can't wait to hear about all the things you do create. I'm an educator, so I will ask that our friends Jim and Terry Sue send me your projects, which I will grade, and I will send your assessments back, and it will be binding, and it will affect what kind of college you get to down the road. So take this seriously. No, I'm just kidding. But I would love to see what you come up with. I've been super impressed with the quality of the work that you do here. So enjoy, have a lot of fun, learn a lot, and I sure wish I could be there with you.
From Las Vegas.
Live
Here we
from
are.
Live from Las Vegas. And what happened in Las Vegas is coming to you in Disneyland.
Oh, totally
Yes,
true.
there it is.
Well done, Jim.
There was once a man named Kenny.
In Vegas, he won more than a penny.
He thought he was fine, but he had passed all the signs.
But now he's okay thanks to his friend Jenny.
Call 1-800-GAMBLER for gambling help.
Scratchers started as harmless fun.
Until I lost more than I won.
When the habit turned deadly.
Family lost faith in me. The thrill is gone, the game is done.
Gambling is one of the earliest forms of entertainment and can be traced back to 2300 BC in China. The earliest reports of problem gambling arise sometime within the Middle Ages. Fast forward to now, nearly 4 million people within the United States alone are affected by it. Like any other form of addiction, problem gambling is a very serious issue that causes people to lose jobs, families, friends, and even sometimes their lives, as 20% of problem gamblers will attempt suicide at one point. This also affects adolescents. In 2006, the California Office of Problem Gambling and Friday Night Live Partnership launched an awareness campaign called Betting on Our Future to empower youth to become advocates for change and raise awareness about the risks of problem gambling and its existing resources. This organization sponsors programs in schools and community centers across California. We'll be visiting High Tech Middle, Chula Vista, and the Media Arts Center San Diego to see some of these programs in action. We're here at the Media Arts Center San Diego, where they're working with local students in the BOOF initiative to produce PSAs on the topic of problem gambling. What really drew in the Media Arts Center of San Diego to, work with BOOF?
We were contacted by the BOOF program, along with a variety of other sites that they're working with, to have our young people in our program create projects for their initiative.
The amazing thing about BOOF is that it gives youth a voice, and it shows that we can change our community.
When I started doing research on it, it all became all too real. We got to actually interview other people that were gambling addicts, still are. I want people to think when they watch this that, their choices affect their friends, their family, their future.
I really like the way that the Media Arts Center combines filmmaking with social justice, so that you can create really amazing things and help your community and show your parents and your family members and really be advocates for this change.
So we're here at High Tech Middle School in Chula Vista to see what these people are working on.
Today we're taking pictures for an advertisement to spread awareness to stop gambling.
What do you believe that you've taken away from this?
I think understanding that problem gambling for youth, it is a problem. And by creating this awareness, we're able to create change.
Like kids my age can gamble anywhere, and gambling can affect your future with friends, family, school.
People are out there to help them and support them, and that they're not alone, and that there's other people like them who also need help.
I hope that we can create prevention, treatment, and knowledge for people. The more people know, the more we can help. And then on the other side, I think for the kids, I think this is an opportunity for their futures. A lot of them are being exposed to being able to work with the cameras, be in front of the camera, come up with writing ideas. Like, this is great for creating opportunity and avenues for future for students.
Problem gambling doesn't discriminate. It affects people of all ages, ethnicities, and education levels. The BOOF program is working hard to address these issues by teaching young people so that they can become advocates for change to combat the problem gambling epidemic.
recommend to young people with finances is education. Start learning as much as you can, and before you invest money, I would learn as much as possible. And I would start with my first investment would be called an S&P 500 index fund. And the reason for that is because the S&P 500 index fund is something you really, really can understand with certain stocks such as IBM and Microsoft, McDonald's, Boeing. Those are companies are all in there. And actually, that's what I started with my first investment, was the S&P 500 index fund. The Booth Project is great. I think it's something that everybody... We
love you, Brian. Thanks for all your help.
Well, I like to thank everyone here too, but everyone take advantage of what you can take advantage of, and down the road, you're gonna be really happy that you did everything. Everyone in high school should be taking a Finance 101 class. So whatever you students need to do, you should push for that and demand to be taught about finances in high school.
Oh, quack. Smoking is an addiction that grips many teens. Just like gambling, it releases dopamine. They both rob your health and drain your wealth. Don't duck up yourself or your mental means. Gambling is a mental drug. Don't get hooked.
This just in, gambling has become a prevalent issue amongst adolescents.
Yes, it is. In fact, many problem gamblers started gambling before the 8th grade. According to a recent statistic, 4% of teens in California are problem gamblers.
Youth gamblers are 4 times as likely to become problem gamblers as adults. How could this happen, you may be wondering? Turns out, it's all around us.
As harmless as they may seem, many gaming applications on your child's phones promote obsessive gambling behaviors. For example, Candy Crush. A very popular game amongst youth is initially free to play until extra features are offered to purchase to enhance the gaming experience.
Being that we are exposed to multiple forms of gambling, it is encouraged to be aware of your choices and to monitor the choices your kids make both at home and at school.
If you suspect you or a loved one has a problem, free help is available at www.problemgambling.ca.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Good morning, Spotlight. My name is Hannah Thewison. And I'm Franche Alleray. Today, let's talk gambling. According to research reported in the LA Times, Asians are about 10 times more likely to gamble than the rest of the world. In California, the Attorney General's report, Gambling in the Golden State, acknowledged that Asian Americans are highly represented among recreation gamblers, citing an article written by Casino City Times. They estimated up to 50% of the clientele at a popular tribal casino near Riverside in San Diego, California, are made up of Asian Americans.
Mahjong is a domino game that plays similar to a card game, like Rummy,
and gambling mahjong has very little in common with the solitaire version that Western players often find installed on their computers. Theorized to have been invented by Confucius, mahjong is deeply ingrained in both the Chinese and Japanese cultures.
Traditional Pai Gow is played differently from the Americanized game called Pai Gow Poker in the States. In Asia, Pai Gow is a domino game played with Chinese dominoes that predates most, if not all, other casino games. In fact, historians have traced Pai Gow back to the Song Dynasty somewhere around 1000 AD.
An investigative report in the Silicon Valley Metro newspaper reported that Asian Americans make up between 50 and 80% of the clientele at the two local card clubs.
One Chinese proverb demonstrates the culture's acceptance of gambling, at the same time signaling a warning to those who overindulge. A little gambling is soothing, heavy gambling could affect your mental health.
So, if you gamble, remember, gamble responsibly.
For more information, go to problemgambling.ca.gov.
BetDole. Win real money. Play responsibly.
Me and You. Once upon a time, in a land of me and you. Both playing games, mine too innocent for dues. Mine were fantasies, yours, reality.
Oh no!
Crushing your morality. What was once a story, now became true. When you gamble, you're not the only one who loses.
Hello, this is Jeffrey from Channel 6. We're producing a segment about gambling. Now to my partner who's conducting an interview with a family who has been affected by gambling.
Hi, my name is Dibyani, and today I'm going to be conducting an interview with a family who has had trouble with problem gambling. And here they are.
So, how has problem gambling affected you and your daughter's life?
It was very effective. I wasn't paying attention to my daughter. I was too busy running for gambling, always just keeping my hopes up on winning.
So, how has your mother's problem gambling affected you?
I felt like I haven't been a part of the family until I seen one commercial that said if your relatives if they gamble, then to call 1-800-GAMBLER. And then after that, my mom, I showed her, and she hesitated for a second, but tried it. After that, we got to spend time with each other like we did before.
For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Bob walked in and said,
"Hey, honey."
His wife replied, "Where's our money?" He lost his job and his wife, 'cause gambling took over his life. He called the hotline to make his life sunny.